नमस्कार, जय हिंद, जय भारत एंड वेलकम टू डेफ टॉक्स। दिस इज आदि अचिंत। मेरे साथ हैं, आई हैव विद मी मिस्टर दीप हल्दर, जो आपको ऐसी चीजें ही विल टेल यू सच थिंग्स दैट ट्रस्ट मी अबाउट व्हाट्स हैपनिंग इन वेस्ट बंगाल। हम सबको देख रहे हैं, वी आर ऑल वाचिंग एंड किस तरह से चीजें इवॉल्व कर रही हैं। वी आर आल्सो लुकिंग एट दैट बीजेपी का हिडन गेम टू टीएमसी's एक्सप्लोजन टू द मेल्टडाउन इन बांग्लादेश। सबके बारे में बात करते हैं। नमस्कार, वेलकम टू द शो।
Namaskar. Thank you, Adi. Always a pleasure.
थैंक यू सर। डिड यू एक्सपेक्ट द पार्टी टू ब्रेक सो फास्ट?
Yes, I did not expect, I'll be honest, I did not really expect the BJP to do so well as it did. But I expected that if a day comes, whether it was this time or the next, if Trinamool Congress is out of power, it will break. I was not sure BJP is going to come to power the way it did. I mean, there are friends in the party and both in Delhi and in Bengal who are very confident. I was skeptical because I wrote a book called Bengal 2021, an election diary. And it was, I didn't say at that time that BJP is going to win, but I said BJP is going to do very well. Okay, because I had listed out the reasons why. It was COVID time, if you remember, 2021, and I had, with a mask on, I had traveled across Bengal in a car and looking at how money was siphoned off. Even relief money for Amphan, was siphoned off. People who were linked to the Trinamool Congress, they took away money for relief. There was corruption there. The complete breakdown of the health system during COVID. Then the syndicate Raj, of course, which has been continuing for decades now, for uh, close to 15 years. And all of these are listed out reasons why the BJP will do very well. It did decently well, 77 seats. It did not cross 100. So maybe I was skeptical. I was playing the devil's advocate. So I didn't expect the BJP to sort of win like this. But I knew that if it were to win West Bengal, then Trinamool will implode. So the implosion is, what you ask me, the implosion is not a shock because Trinamool, I'll tell you why. Trinamool is a party without an ideology.
Hmm.
Trinamool is a revenue model. Okay. And without being in power, that revenue model, and I'm saying it seriously, it's not mirth. Without proximity to power, that revenue model cannot function. So there is nothing ideological that binds people to the Trinamool Congress. What Mamta Banerjee stood for has changed so much. She's a huge leader. She's a mass leader. I mean, today with her very own deserting her, and of course how she has run the state. People may sort of forget how big a leader she is. She was a very big leader, but what she stood for ideologically has been so diluted over the decades that there is no glue except power to hold her party together. So I knew that if the party were to lose power, it would completely break.
For me, the most shocking thing is that everybody and their uncle G is just U-turning
Yes,
and coming out and saying, especially people like Riju Datta, who were quite rabid about various different things. And he's now,
yes,
Nini, what could I have done? I can't, I won't have been able to survive. On one hand, you feel sorry for these people. There's no question about
yes,
it. You feel sorry for these people because this guy was a spokesperson. He probably wasn't involved in, you know, street violence. And I don't know. I'm not this thing. बट ये बंदा बैठ के टीवी के ऊपर ही वुड जस्टिफाई कि यार नो नो
yeah,
जो भी हो रहा है ठीक है, हम ऐसा कुछ नहीं है, दिस दैट एंड ऑल दैट नॉनसेंस. बट टुडे नाउ व्हेन अ गाय लाइक दैट कम्स आउट एंड सेज कि uh, my life was under threat, my parents were under threat, my wife was under threat, my this, my that, and everything. You do feel a little sorry for them at a human level, but then you
yes,
remember what all they've done, so you don't
yes,
do that. But when you look at the party itself, this whole drama which is taking place, Mamta Banerjee running here, running there, she's going to the center, to Delhi to meet the Congress, the same Congress they were having complete fights about, Sonia Gandhi, huggies. It just seems very, I don't know, is it a desperate move, or is it something that you would think Mamta should do to kind of keep herself relevant?
Mamta has no other option than to do this in Delhi, because look at what's happening in fact, I'm going to write a column about this. The government should also, I mean, it's nowhere, no, not a patch on what happened after 2021, but all this egg justice, I call it egg justice, that's happening. Trinamool
Exactly.
leaders being arrested, yeah, and sort of eggs being thrown at them. I mean, some time has passed, so now the government should take complete control of the situation. Please let the law take its course. It's a very
Yeah.
cliched expression, but please let it do it, because there's a lot of expectation from the government. But on the other hand, it also shows the kind of public anger against Trinamool Congress. There's a huge amount of anger. In fact, let me tell you that the, the government and the party, the BJP as a party and the government, uh, has done reasonably well in controlling public anger. Public anger is huge. You don't know the kind of violence the Trinamool Congress government uh, extended towards its adversaries, towards people, not necessarily the BJP Karyakarta, but even anybody they thought is speaking out against the government and the party. So the kind of where I stay, Baliganj, there's a big market here, the Karihat market. It's huge. Now I go and the guys I buy my fish from, the guys I buy my vegetables from, those people are speaking up now, and they're saying that uh, we want to just chop off the heads of people who represented Trinamool. They're ordinary, they're not party workers. But because he said you do not know what happened in the villages all these years. So Mamta Banerjee knows this, right? I mean, she's ruled the state for 15 long years. She knows this. So it's not just her MLAs and MPs deserting her. She also knows that she is not the leader she once was inside West Bengal, right? I mean, it would only perhaps be her cadre, whatever was left of it, would rally behind her. So to oppose the BJP, which is getting stronger by the day in West Bengal, uh, is not a great option now. Perhaps a better option is to move to Delhi, because see, public memory is short. So there will be issues concerning the central government. It's also been in power for a long time, and there are issues, right? And if she can sit there in Delhi, get the press, and the press will come to her, you know, and she's an effective political communicator. So if she can somehow uh, get into that role of opposing the government at the center, not necessarily in Bengal, then maybe there's a second chance at her, for her, in terms of redefining her role in Indian politics. Because currently, given the public anger, forget what the Shubhendu Adhikari government is doing. The public, and also not about her MLAs deserting her and her MPs. The public anger against her. Okay, whatever she says, we'll come to that. But let me just one very effective, and that's the column I wrote. One effective thing politically, but a horrible thing when it comes to geopolitics. Something that should be an absolute red line for any politician anywhere in India, in under any political dispensation, is she mentioned the Osman Hadi killing. It's embarrassing for the Indian government and for India. But is it effective? Yes, it is, because it embarrasses the government, right? So she is expecting that she will move her theater from Calcutta, Kolkata to Delhi, and
I wa-
that's a smart move. How
so
effective she is, I don't know. But in Kolkata, see, there is so much public anger now. Whatever she'll say about the Shubhendu Adhikari government, people
it
won't
won't
listen
work.
to her. People will turn around and say, "Baba, tumne kya kiya?"
Hmm.
So it's too early. So, but in Delhi, it's a different mindset. There is an ecosystem that's ready. The anti-Modi, anti-BJP ecosystem that's ready. So here's a woman who has been defeated by the BJP. BJP engineered the split in her party. She has been abused by the BJP workers and leaders. All these things will be spoken about. And anyway, BJP is in power in Bengal now. So what happened during her tenure will not be spoken about. And she can only concentrate on the government at the center. So
So
that
Rajya
way,
Sabha,
see, I don't know Rajya Sabha or not. I mean, she can be this. I mean, just look at it this way. She doesn't need her MLA. She doesn't need her MPs. I mean, only a few will do. Without any, even outside parliament, she can be a very effective voice. Like I said, that she if you get the press at your doorstep every day, if you pick issues which will pinch the government, it's a very good ploy.
There was news that she asked Sagarika Ghosh to empty out a seat.
Yes, and this Humayun Kabir guy of the new Babri Masjid fame, he has also sort of said that he will do so, but vacate his seat for Mamta Banerjee. But uh, like I said, it's not really about being inside Parliament. I mean, that's of course one of the considerations, but it's about being the voice.
That gives her a house, that gives her the car, that gives her that position that some people had. If you remember
Yes,
one lady in Maharashtra,
yeah,
no political worth, she can't win an election of her house, forget anything else. But the
yeah.
press would be there every day in front of her.
Yes, but the press will be at her house even if she's not an MP.
Mm.
And
Okay.
in Parliament, anyway, 20 of her own MPs have gone against her.
Mm.
Right. So her bench strength in Parliament, the MPs who are with her are very less. So yes, of course, she would want to be in Parliament. I mean, should have something. But even outside Parliament, she's a very strong voice. Now, how
This
effective that communication is remains to be seen. But is she a smarter politician than most of our opposition leaders? Yes, she is.
there's a talk of that third front, which is you know
Yeah.
coming up now. DMK started talking about, which is what I thought will be, because this indie shindy thing is not going to work. So the
Yes.
DMK, Mamta, and all these guys will get together and do something as far as the third front is concerned.
Yes.
Probably, I don't know. Does she stick with the Congress like ND alliance, or does she do something else separately? That's something that we'll have to wait and
Wait
watch.
and watch. Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen as far as the party is concerned?
Her faction of the party will survive, but I think gradually what's happening is, for now, all the hot ticket issues, all the hotly debated issues, the opposition that will be visible in the news, on social media, and on the streets is the left, not Trinamool Congress.
So
And the
these
left,
these
the left front alliance has won 2 seats, right?
yeah.
So, but they have a bunch of young leaders who are social media stars, and not just social media stars. Some of them do go out on the streets. Like for instance, the anti-encroachment drive in Jadavpur.
Uh,
You know, so left leader Srijan Bhattacharya was arrested. He was there holding up the constitution. There are pictures of it. Uh, it's a rage on social media, right? There are young leaders, actors. There was this actor who's aligned to left politics, who was allegedly beaten up. There's blood coming out of his forehead, and all of these things. These are so that's because the left, funnily, right now after so many years out of power, has the legitimacy, quote unquote, to pick up these issues. Whereas the Trinamool Congress, even with 2 MLAs, but the Trinamool Congress with even 20 MLAs, if you are to consider the split, the Ritubrata Banerjee faction versus the Mamta Banerjee faction. So Ritubrata Banerjee faction has 58 MLAs, including himself, and he said there are 2 more who are supporting him. So
he said 61.
so out of 80, then there's 20 with Mamta. So and the Left Front Alliance has 2. So even with two MLAs, so which is what I was in the previous argument I was telling you about Mamta. Even with 2 MLAs, the left feels it has a legitimate voice to oppose the BJP government, the new BJP government. Whereas with 20 MLAs, the Trinamool Congress cannot, because every day there's fear. Are out of these 20, will more MLAs go to the Ritubrata Banerjee faction, or will out of these 20, how many more will be arrested or given the egg treatment? So they have lost the legitimacy in West Bengal for now, and this will go on for a few months.
But tell me this, this whole the coterie of Mamta Banerjee. the loudest of them all, Mahua Moitra, Savani Ghosh, Sagarika
Yeah.
Ghosh,
Yeah.
Kunal, Kalyan Banerjee,
Yeah.
like I have Derek O'Brien. These guys are
Yeah.
just not there. They're. I mean, this she's left alone fighting this thing. Derek O'Brien has been seen one or two times here and there. Kalyan
Kalyan,
Banerjee,
yeah,
one day
yeah,
he
was very
was hurt,
vocal yesterday.
second day he was standing without a bandage. But the three
Yes.
ladies that used to be, like
Shiny has gone somewhat quiet. Shagorika is tweeting. Mohua is putting out videos and also tweeting.
yeah, yeah,
But I think they're all shaken, very badly shaken. Because it's one thing to lose the election so bad. It's another to have your own people who you were supping and breakfasting with till the other day, suddenly sort of desert you, and not just desert you, say how sad they were, how tragic their lives were in power. It's a little disconcerting, what you mentioned. And it's not just Riju Datta, all of them. I mean, in fact, just before we started this podcast, I was seeing a video. I don't know whether I can't verify the authenticity of the video of a Trinamool Congress MP who is now part of the gang that says it will support the NDA, who's heard saying before the elections, and this is inside a party office, where she was telling her boys that don't spare the BJP people after 5th, give them the treatment. What does the treatment mean? So like I said, I'm not taking the name because I can't verify the video, but it was sent to me by somebody I know, and said that, and then they're very angry. They're saying, these people, they're saying that, we want to take this video and file a police complaint, but now she's part of the group that's supporting the BJP. So what do we do? So there is also that anger, because some of our MLAs and MPs who are suddenly discovering the flaws in Mamta Banerjee's style of functioning, were very much part of the system till
yeah,
they
they
lost
were.
power.
Mm.
So I mean, it's great to have a conscience, and it's very good for the BJP that it's happening. But think about the people who face the brunt of it. To Many of them may support the BJP, and now they see that these people. So you tell them, oh no, it's more bench strength in parliament. It should be easy to pass get things done for the BJP. It completely diminishes the opposition in the state. But for people, it's very bad memory, very tragic, horrible memory. They're associated with some of the people who are becoming new Trinamool.
Mm.
The Trinamool with conscience, because they remember the freshly minted Trinamool leaders for what they were even a month ago.
Yeah, yeah, of course, there's no question about it. That
Yeah,
memory is, this thing. What about Hypo, Abhishek Banerjee? What's really happening there? What do you think is his future? A lot of lot of the funny thing is that he was brought as a kind of a next generation, this that all that nonsense. He did what he did in the party. Today, Mamta Banerjee actually made a statement that kind of shocked me. She said, "If I remove Abhishek, will you all come back?" Now that's not going to happen. But the sheer fact that
yeah.
it came from her mouth tells me that she knows what this is the
See,
guy.
a
This
lot of people, were angry with Mamta Banerjee, and this is not now. This has been so for past 10 years, for the sudden elevation of Abhishek Banerjee,
Hmm.
and it included the current chief minister of my state, Shubhendu Adhikari. Right? So a lot of tall leaders within the Trinamool Congress were angry with the elevation of Abhishek Banerjee, because they didn't see anything worthwhile in Abhishek Banerjee. He is not a mass leader like Mamta Banerjee. Also, there is a certain kind of arrogance that people say he has while dealing with people. Also, this whole association with IPAC, the IPACization of West Bengal, of first Trinamool Congress and then West Bengal, is not something that many of the old style Trinamool Congress leaders were happy with. So I think it is from that sense that Mamta is saying that if I remove Abhishek, people will come back. But it's not just that. Now it's gone beyond that. Now, see, there's also the fact that she's lost power, and you know how once you lose power, uh, what happens often to political parties.
Hmm.
But yes, it's for now. Like I said, Mamta Banerjee there may be a spot in Indian politics for Mamta Banerjee as a very strong opposition voice, because she's an effective communicator, however she communicates in the opposition space. But I don't think Abhishek Banerjee has much play left right now. Of course, you shouldn't write epitaphs of any politicians, and he's very young and smart. But right now, I don't see how Abhishek Banerjee will keep a place for himself in either state politics or national politics, because his
And
own MPs in parliament, Abhishek Banerjee's own MPs in parliament will go against him. I mean, Ritubrata Banerjee is already speaking against Abhishek Banerjee. He's very very sly. I mean, he said that he was asked that don't you regard Mamta Banerjee? He said that did you hear it? He said, I want Mamta Banerjee as the chief advisor of this
hmm,
faction.
hmm.
So I mean, that's a very Shakespeare. I mean, it's things like this that made Shakespeare coin the phrase "unkindest cut." It's really unkindest cut. I mean, is to say that he
Like,
wants Mamata
you know,
Banerjee
you
as
know,
chief advisor.
when you go when you go dark, right?
Yeah,
When you go to these dark places and do dirty things, then
yeah,
I don't think this is shocking at all, because
yeah,
what you've done will also come back to you. You
yeah,
know, so that's there.
yeah.
Let's talk about a broader this thing. In Bangladesh, there are certain elements that were saying, with Mamta Banerjee gone, our greater Bangladesh policy has gone to the toss. Then you've got guys like Garga Chatterjee talking about, soft separatism, if I may. I don't think that is soft separatism. I think that is clear separatism. Um, you know, the kind of nonsense that he spoke about was this thing. Was
Many
there
people
some?
in Bangladesh. Yeah, sorry.
Was there something at the back end? See, it's difficult to prove for people like us without having insights into all this stuff. But with the kind of meltdown we are seeing in Bangladesh, with the kind of elements that were here, with the kind of demographic change, when one puts everything in the same bowl, one comes out with the answer. Yeah, there was, of course, something going to happen here, that these guys were trying to break away, or what were they trying to do?
See, the Tariq Rahman government has been very interestingly, and perhaps one should have expected it, has been very, very, uh, how do I put it, very diplomatic about how it has reacted to the change of government in West Bengal, right? Uh, it has how also it has reacted to Mamta Banerjee's statements, which will come to presently, uh, has also been is also worth praising. But there has been shock in the entire opposition space in Bangladesh over Mamta Banerjee's loss, uh, because some of the statements that have been coming out from these young leaders of Bangladesh are shocking. That you can have a favorite politician across border. All of us, I mean, people watch the US elections, for instance, from the Indian subcontinent very closely. Even in India, people have either support Democrats or Republicans. All of that is fine. But this kind of shock at the defeat of Mamta Banerjee from beyond border is unbelievable. Uh, there is, and that statement of Mamta Banerjee, that at a gathering where the press was present, where she said that I know what happened about the killing across border. Some people were arrested, and then the home minister called and asked me to not talk about it. So I know who did it. It's a horrible, horrible thing to say, and it has opened up a Pandora's box in Bangladesh. And it has
Yes.
people have come down the streets with processions taking Mamta's name, that she should name and shame uh, the plotters of the killing of Osman Hadi. I think I'm okay with I think, in fact, I often argue that one of the problems with India currently is the lack of a credible opposition. So I'm all for people taking on the government of the center, but this is a national security red line no politician should cross.
To me,
Because
this was shocking. There's no question. But she in January she said Bengal and India must have good relations.
yes, but and now to come out and say that, and then somebody either from our party or from one of the members of the press said that take the name. I said no, I won't take the name, and I love India. But this is embarrassing. In moments of crisis, when there's a war, a conflict, even the opposition comes together. With the government. If you have to criticize how the conflict, your sort of the part you played in the conflict as the government, whether you were ready for it or whether you took the hits, uh, is for later. But during the conflict or or on such very very sensitive issues, to say such a thing like this, and thankfully again the Tariq Rahman government sort of came out. Their deputy foreign minister, she said that there's been an election in a state in India, and somebody has won, somebody has lost, but that's about it. She's not going to comment on statements made. So I think it was a very good statement from the government, the Rahman government. But uh, to what you were saying, to sort of to say a thing like this, to even imply that India has had a role in the killing of Usman Hadi, when there is a consensus that the arrest was should be interpreted, and this has been said in Bangladesh as well, as something to show that India will not give refuge to anybody who is involved in any illegal activity in Bangladesh, because it considers Bangladesh to be a friendly nation. To somehow spin it and say that the plotting of the killing of Usman Hadi was done from here is, I mean, it's really, really bad politics. It's dangerous.
Because to me, see, the funny thing is, the kind of the elements that you have, like this, po- the Gaga Chatterjee and multiple other people like this who were talking about, that soft separatist sort of a this thing, and then Mamta Banerjee's own statements. Oh, this thing. Me and India, uh, uh, Bengal and India must have good relations. Bengal and India must have good relations. What the hell is that? And then she spoke
Yeah.
about one time there was a military movement. She said, "Oh, this is a coup." You know, uh, it's very weird that this sort of a these kind of words actually come out.
Yes. There is a sense of what you're talking about. This sense that, of course, Mamta Banerjee and her politics and people like Kalka Chatterjee constantly harped upon. But it's very ironic, Ari. There is a sense of anti-Dillism that even people from my generation grew up with. But I shifted to Delhi, so I dropped it very soon. But the origin of it. The origin of it was the Nehru era, because when lakhs of refugees, Hindu refugees, were crossing over, even from before partition, 46, because the violence had started on the eastern part of Bengal, 46, 47, then every flashpoint, political flashpoint in Bangladeshi politics, in East Pakistani politics, Bangladeshi politics, uh, waves of Hindu migration happened. Okay, and initially when Nehru was in power, he was very anti this. He was very anti the idea of Hindu Bengali migrants from East Pakistan moving to the state of West Bengal. Because Bidhan Chandra Roy, Congress Chief Minister Bidhan Chandra Roy, who stood firm and said, no, this should be allowed because there's a genocide happening. So
Mm.
this anti-Delhi sentiment actually begins from there. That Delhi did not look at us. Delhi did not care for us. Delhi did not think of us as human beings. And then a huge chunk of these refugees were picked up from West Bengal, because West Bengal simply did not have the capacity to absorb so many refugees, and sent to what was broadly known as Dandakaranya area, central
Mm,
India,
mm,
cut out. And they were put into, perhaps there was no other option. They were put in to do work they were not familiar with. road construction work. Okay, most of those places were arid. The language was foreign to them. They were Bengalis and they were mostly fishermen, and they were cultivators. So they were suddenly made to do manual labor as in road construction, building projects, and in a new land with a very different climate. And they spent decades like that. even the even the Morichapi massacre springs from that sense. They wanted to come back to a terrain that they knew. So a anti-Delhi sentiment developed at that time, but it was actually an anti-Nehru sentiment. Okay, which was then spun around and very carefully crafted to permanently be anti-Delhi. It's very interesting, but if you go back, it came from a sense of being persecuted as a Hindu, as a Bengali Hindu. Kanchan Gupta has spoken about this at length at the Pondilit Fest, and he said that how Nehru betrayed Bengali Hindu refugees. So what you're saying, but public memory is short, and it became then part of your growing up in Calcutta or elsewhere in Bengal to kind of always hate Delhi. But nobody really thought back at why this began. It began because the Bengali Hindu refugee was ignored by Delhi.
Hmm.
So that's the genesis.
Now that's very, it's crazy and disheartening.
Yeah.
Uh,
So then when you say, and then you picked on any issue and said, oh, Delhi is ignoring us, or Delhi is this, Delhi is that. And then you had Mr. Modi coming to power. So then you have this, secular West Bengal versus communal rest of India. So, but this is a very psychologically, this is a very even the BJP's communication. I mean, now it's thankfully won the state. Uh, Thankfully it will sort of one of the things that it should do is make sure that these sentiments don't linger. But the state Bengalis did not start hating Delhi because of anything else. Because of Mr. Modi, they started hating Delhi because of Mr. Nehru. Even if you go to Delhi, go to CR Park area, where I stay in Delhi, Chittaranjan Park, which was initially a refugee colony, and then because it's South Delhi and it has GK1 and GK2 next to it, it's now become a posh area. But it's EPDP, East Pakistani. It's the association that was in charge of that area was called EPDP, East Pakistani Displaced Persons Association. Okay, so if you talk to some of the older people, you will find a reflection of what I'm saying. How angry they were that the government of the day in Delhi did not take care of them.
hmm. Lastly, I want to ask you about the Bangladeshis there.
Yeah.
What do you think is going to happen? Because there's pushback, there's Bangladeshis trying to create. Oh, we've stopped in 10 places where one place they stopped 3 kilometers. Furthermore, they're already
Yeah.
getting pushed
So
inside.
there's oh, we are stopping them, and
It's
they
all
are
gone.
trying to. The Bangladesh press is on the news and reels and videos that they're making that
Hmm.
we have taught the border security force a lesson. They had to take back people they were illegally pushing into our terrain. They have put the lights out and they were trying to push hordes of people who they claim to be illegal immigrants into Bangladesh. We have stopped them. We've taught them a lesson. I think there are the process is on. BGB and BSF, they're talking, but I think the government is determined about the state government and also the central government. Our central government is determined about the illegal infiltration issue. Uh, they will just have to mm, paper out the issues that are coming up, and but I think they are pretty certain that this is what they want to do.
The interesting thing to me here was the propaganda, the way it is coming out now is the same as Pakistani.
Hmm.
Uh, typical Jamaat-e-Islami Pakistani sort of a propaganda which was coming across. Oh, हमने रोक दिया. We've deployed 60,000.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah, yeah, yeah.
so it just showed me that
The
there's a
the
certain
the, peop- the
aspirations.
people and the their side of the narrative is it is the people of Bangladesh along with some mob basically in one or two places. The people of Bangladesh along with border guards Bangladesh who are stopping BSF from pushing people inside Bangladesh.
Yeah.
So
But
it's basically an unruly mob.
yeah, to me also it was very interesting that they are trying to push this narrative, 60,000 deployed, this, that, you and all that.
Yeah.
Why would you do that if India is failing to do it? And if India
Yes.
is failing to do it, why would you get the bloody Al Jazeera to come and record something?
Yeah.
As me, hey, listen, pal, you've been taken. There's nothing much. So you're basically crying right now.
Yeah. 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 Because it has hit them on the face. I mean, they really don't know how to
Yeah,
react to the change of government, and this it's hit the ground running. I mean, it's not wasting a day. I mean,
yeah,
see the
yeah.
series of things it is doing.
That's true. That's true. Deep Saab, thank you so much. This was very
Thank
insightful,
you.
and I
Thank
think
you.
let's hope we can have a conversation at the earliest because this is going to be
Yeah.
very, very
Yes, it's going to
important.
be a very interesting time. I mean, if you consider the region, West Bengal, Bangladesh, and so the BJP government doesn't want to waste a day. So I think it's going to be very interesting.
Yeah, they've come very well planned. I must say they've
Yeah,
come extremely well planned.
yeah,
Uh, so and the way that they are doing stuff, it's very interesting, very
yeah.
very interesting. On that note, thank you so much, and
Thank you, sir.
the audience. My request is please like, subscribe, and share this with your friends and families. Let us know in the comment box what do you guys think of this conversation. Support the channel. Check out the description. And thank you once again. Namaskar. Jai Hind. Jai Bharat.